G'day, welcome back to another episode of TOGL. Well, the days just seem to be disappearing faster and faster as we increasingly draw towards our move date. We only have about a week and a half left, so I've really got to get cracking. Anyway, in this episode, what we're going to do, we need to get some timber milling done, get trusses put up, a whole manner of things that I've got to get done, get sorted out, weld the little tabs on to hold the trusses down. So without further ado, I'm going to cut straight into it because there is lots to show. I hope you enjoy this one, and if you do, drop us a thumbs up, leave us a comment. I will talk to you at the end of this episode. All right, sit back, relax, and enjoy the show. Okay, well, I've just spent the morning down the men's shed making up these brackets. Now I've made two sorts. I've got this shape bracket with the two holes, and then I've just got a flat plate bracket, and this is just cut out of the leftover metal actually from when I made the smudge bar for leveling out the roads. So it is a really good steel, and what I plan on doing is these flat ones, they will go along the outside edge here, and then these ones, they will actually get welded up on the top part where the higher level is, and this is for the truss to sit in, and then we'll put bolts through to bolt the trusses down when we put these trusses up on the weekend. So what I want to do is I'm going to space 7 of these, one either end, and then 5 evenly spaced throughout the middle. So that means that they're going to be at about 90 centimeters each on these sides. Up on top where it's got that extra front and back, it's actually a neat 6 meters. Again, I'll do 7, so it means they'll be at 1 meter intervals. So what I need to do is get up here, mark along that edge in 90 centimeter increments so that I can then grab the angle grinder and just grind off the paint so that I can get a nice clean weld on there. I'll get these welded on and then get some paint back onto them. We're lucky it's been dry for a day or so. I want to get this done before the next lot of rain comes through, which is supposed to be tomorrow, so I'll get this done now. Welder up, the Jenny, and ready to get started. So I've got those patches with the paint ground off up there. I'll get this flashed up and we'll see if we can't start getting these welded on. Now that the tabs are welded on, I just need to use a wire brush. I've got one on the drill, a little brush head, and just clean off all of the muck that's around there so that I can get a coat of paint onto it, stop it rusting and make it look better too. Alright, I'll go get some paint. Well, that paint is the touch-up paint that came with the container. That's really cheap. I'm not impressed with that paint at all. I'm pretty impressed with the house. I'm not impressed with that paint. It's weak as it's like water. So I'm going to run down to the other shed where I've got some of the gal paint, and I'll paint that. At least it gets a protective covering over it. Later on I can always touch it up with some white paint, better white paint than that. Like I said, that is so watery. That's ridiculous. So yeah, crap paint. The silicone they provided was really good. I've used some of that, but yeah, the paint, not much chop. So let's go down and we'll grab some galvanized stuff, galvanized spray paint. Alright, this is what you want. This one's called zinc gal, that one's called silver zinc, but it's the same thing. It's like a all-in-one silver cold galvanizing. So yeah, I'll get this on there. Starting to lose some light, so I think once I've got these painted off, it'll be wrap up and head home for some dinner, and I'll get stuck back into it again tomorrow and do the other three. A lot of this afternoon was getting things set up, getting the welder up here and the generator, and just getting myself prepared, getting everything ready. Once I got started on it, it was really quite a fast process. So now that I've got everything up here and set up and I know where I'm at again, it's been probably 2 months, 3 months since I did a bit of welding. Yeah, I should crack on with the next ones fairly fast, so we'll get this painted. What I had done today was go and pick up a beautiful wood heater for putting in here. Heavy as all buggery, heavier than I thought it would be. So I didn't worry about filming it because I just thought I'm just going to grab it, get it inside the house, and then get on with the rest of the work that I need to get done today. So, which is going to be putting up those tabs that I've got to get sorted out for the trusses. Anyway, long story short, I used the tractor, scooped it up off the back of the car, maneuvered it around. It will easily fit through the door, going in, because it's hanging out off the front of the bucket. Instead of coming in dead straight, I must have been at a slight angle. I was checking the side of the bucket that was further away and not the side of the bucket that was closest to the window. Yeah, it's at least I know it's really good glazed safety glass because you can see just down the bottom there, the corner of the bucket touched the glass. Well, they probably pressed against it quite hard and pop, shattered it. Not very impressed with myself at all. Not a good way to start. Anyway, the good news is all the glass is intact, so it's still weatherproof at the moment. I don't have to worry about rushing straight out or taping it up and getting anything done. It's weatherproof. What I will do is I'll just have to lift that door out when I've got some time. I'll take it down to Bernie to a glazier. I'll just get him to replace the pane of glass in there. Now it is double glazed. The windows, the doors are all double glazed, so 2 panes of glass. So it was only the outside pane that shattered anyway. Yeah, and like I said, you can run your hand down that. Like it really is good safety glass. So really good quality glass too. Anyway, yeah, there's another couple $100 I'm gonna have to spend to fix that glass. Bloody hell. I was just trying to get it done. Most of the time I get things done without any issues. Yeah, not so with that. Anyway, we've got to get some tags, these metal brackets welded up onto the house here. So let's get them welded up, and yeah, we've got a big couple of days ahead of us to get the roof on. Okay, well that's the 14 tabs, because I'm doing 7 in a row. So the 14 tabs are welded on the top here, as you can see. So the next thing I need to do is get that drill again and the wire brush and just clean off a bit of that mess so that I can get some gal paint onto it. a great day for ducks. Very wet, check this out. But I've got work to do. I've got trusses to build, so I've got to get down and get it done regardless. I'm taking the tractor up and down because the hill is so slippery now I can't get the car up. I actually got the car stuck yesterday, got it bogged. Not bogged, just couldn't get traction. Had to use a tractor to pull it out. Thankfully my mate Mitch was here to help me. And yeah, managed to do a little bit of damage to the car as well, so not great. Anyway, let's get down to the bottom. I'll show you the state of this track as we go. As you can see, the channel I dug a while back is doing its job keeping a good amount of water away from the road. And the road is now in a pretty poor state down here after getting stuck the other night and tearing it up. Alright, we're down here in the shed. Mitch has come down again today to give me a hand. How are you, Mitch?
Yeah, good, good. We're all here.
Yep, and
even Sooty.
Even Sooty's here. Hey, Sooty. Alrighty. All she wants to do is attack the nail gun. So, let me show you what we're doing. We've already built a couple of the trusses. So the trusses will be built in two parts. These trusses actually run from front to back on the house. So, that highest end up there to the right will be at the front of the house. It tapers down, that's 3 meters. I'm building these in two sections just so they're easier to manage. And we're just about to build the next section. So the next section will continue until it comes down to a point at that end. Another 3 meter length, and that'll give us our 6 meters. So far what we've done is we've built 2 of those top ones. The other one's just sitting out here to the side. We'll load that up later. So we'll get these 2 ends built for it, and then we can work on the outside edges. due to the rain, I didn't bring the big camera down and the tripod and all that sort of stuff, so it's just going to be, we'll film what we can with the GoPro while we're going. Cut along here to get that on.
That's alright.
Yeah, yeah.
As long as you got that top bit square where you want it.
Yep.
We'll do the pencil mark.
That is right on the money, because that corner is lining up on that beautiful. Oh, yeah. Alright. So, so that there, some reason is cut at almost, at basically the perfect angle.
Yep.
So that was a crooked cut and it's perfect.
Why is it a crooked cut? I thought it was straight.
No, no, it's not. No, it's not. It's not square to that edge.
No.
I'll bring it up here further.
Up there, you reckon?
Yeah. There we go. Like that. Perfect. Ooh,
sorry.
Yes. That was almost a good video.
You can get music soundtracks to this.
That's it. Pretty damn good.
This one a bit. Now we're gonna put a butt end here, aren't we?
Yes, we are. Yeah, that's going to be really good.
That looks really nice.
Yeah, yeah. Yep. So what we'll do is we'll put a block in there, and then we'll just put another one probably about there somewhere, just to use that extra. We had a surprise visitor this afternoon. Neil's come up to give us a hand as well. Neil's brought his little dog Coco. We might roll that over next. I'll just use square, mate. Oh, okay. I got a straight cut. Sure. Yeah. Which one's the bottom?
That's the top.
Okay, so the square end needs to be down that end.
Yeah, that's right. We're going to turn it around.
Spin it
Sorry.
around.
Teach me.
Still too short, won't it? Yeah, way too short. Okay. Yep. Thank you. Well, here you go. You there?
Yeah, you got to have it. Lift it up too high, hit your face with the dobby org end.
Wow, it's been a very long day today. We got all the trusses made, bar putting just a couple of notches for the battens into the very last truss. Wasn't without a tassels. A few times you had to measure and recheck and then redo the calculations, but we got there. So we now have all of those. So now I'm actually going to stay up here tonight in our new little home, and even though we don't have power on yet, I've got a battery running a little LED light. I'm going to cook myself some dinner, and probably do a few of these architrave trims and stuff. That's stuff that I can do of an evening, so I'll do a little bit of that before I crash out for the night. And then tomorrow the boys are coming back up, Neil and Mitch, and they'll help me get those trusses up onto the roof. Well, I had a couple of burgers for dinner. That was really nice. As you can hear, that rain's coming down now. It's really set in. So what I'm going to do is I want to get the windows framed up. Now the good thing about the windows is the actual frames are square, which is perfect, and the inside measurement is 80 centimeters. So this is a piece of trim that I've already cut, and this is the trim that will go around. So on the inside edge it's 80 centimeters. I've cut a template, and it actually works out that the outside point to point is 87 or 870 mil exactly, which is great. So I thought, well, if I set up a jig, that's actually going to make my life a lot easier, and things will proceed a lot quicker as long as I follow a few simple rules, like if you set up any sort of a jig or a template. So what I've done is I've actually got my miter box, and that allows me to cut perfect 45-degree angles. And what I've done is I've actually taped it down to this bench exactly the correct distance from the wall to where I need to cut. Now the things that I need to remember is that when I put this in, this has as you can see, it's got a thin edge and a thick edge. So I need to make sure the thin edge is facing forwards. And then what I've always got to remember is, and I always have it in my mind, is little spike. So the spike needs to be on the thin edge, little spike. If I cut it the other way, I'd have a big fat spike. So I just got to remember little spike, and as long as I do that, I'll make sure I'm always cutting the right angle. So what I need to do is I just slide this back, because it's cut at a square at the moment, and I need to cut through here to get that first little spike. Okay, now I'm using a hacksaw because these trims are plastic, and the hacksaw it's a very fine tooth for cutting metal, but it also gives a very nice clean cut as well. So yeah, when you're cutting even with timber, if you want a really fine cut, you use a fine toothed saw, and a hacksaw works fine. No pun intended. Alright, so now I've got the little spike. All I need to do is slide this up, and then very gently just move it to where it touches the wall. Again, if I was to cut that, the spike would be out here on the fat end. That's not what I want, so I've got to remember, alright, little spike. So I need to be cutting it at this angle. So I use this opposite 45 degrees. And now I've got my piece, which is exactly from point to point 87 centimeters. Just to check, because I double check everything. Every time I cut one, I just double check against the template. No, it's perfect. Just in case the jig's moved a little bit. Alright, so that's cut. Now, what you'll see is the spike is on the fat end. Don't want a fat spike, want a little spike. So I've got to make a cut at the opposite angle. That's just a little bit of excess. Goes straight in the bin. We're back to having a little spike. I can move that up to the wall. Remember to come back and cut at this angle because I want the little spike. And yeah, it sounds like I'm just going over and over on that, but that's what I go over in my head. Every single cut, I'm just repeating it and making sure, because you don't want to make a mistake. There's only the exact amount of material we need here. And there's another one. Again, just a quick check. Make sure the jig hasn't moved. Yep, perfect. Always use the original jig as well. If you start to keep putting the jig down and the one you just cut and use that as the template, you can start to creep by a mil or two each time. Once you've done 24, you can be, 2 centimeters out. So always make sure the one you just cut is the one that you get rid of. Put it to the side. Always keep the original one there as your template to check. And it's just a process of going through like that. And that enables you to cut everything a lot quicker, especially when you're doing that repetition. So 24 of these I need to cut. I've got 6 windows, 4 sides to a window, 6 4s, 24. So I'll finish cutting these up and then we'll start in the back room and we'll start putting the trims around the window. So here's our little window. I'm not sure if you can hear the wind out there. It keeps gusting, it's howling, it's terrible. Really gnarly weather. Anyway, like that. So what I need to do now is, these just get glued into place. So I just need to run a bead of silicone along here, a little one along there, and then it will be put up into place there. And then I'll fix it with some tape to hold it in place until the silicone sets. It's only really a decorative feature, so it doesn't need anything more than that. This is a screenshot from a wind tracking website my friend Vish sent me. The scale goes from green into the blues, then pinks, and reds being the strongest winds. We're located where the red flashing cross is. So a bit of silicone like that. And once the silicone dries in a couple of hours, I can just take that tape off and we've got a nice trim around the window. This is especially because the window sits proud of the wall. If you remember in earlier episodes, the window is actually 50 mil and the walls are about 35 mil. I think they were the measurements. But anyway, so this sits out just about 15 to 20 mil. And yeah, that's why we need to basically put this decorative trim around just to make it look a bit nicer. And there we have it, first window done. So all very well taped up, and I also put some diagonals across the corners there just to pull the corners in nice and tight and make sure that it all sticks together really well. So that just needs a few hours now, and then I can take that off and clean it up a little bit. So I'm going to get a couple more windows done tonight and then call it a night, get some sleep. It was a big day today. Depending on this weather, if the weather continues like this tomorrow, which is actually predicted to do, then yeah, we'll have to reassess. We were going to put trusses up, but we might have to do something different. So we'll see what happens in the morning. But it's all dependent on the weather. Well, as you can see in here, that weather hasn't eased up at all. As a matter of fact, it's probably got worse. With this heavy rain, and then every now and then there's really strong gusts of wind coming through. So definitely today is not the day to be trying to put trusses up on a roof. So I'll postpone that for a couple of days. So what I will do is I got about half of the windows done last night, the trims around them, so I'll finish doing that this morning. And then I should be able to get on to starting to do some of the sills and architraves, all the stuff around the tops and the bottoms. So once I get onto that, I'll bring you back in on that, and we'll start putting those trims around the walls. Okay, so now that I've got all the windows done, I need to start on the skirting boards. First thing you want to do is make sure that the area is nice and clean from dust, and as you can see here, there's lots of there's bits of dirt and polystyrene beads and whatnot. So we just got to get all of that cleaned. And yes, I am working in my slippers. And I'll tell you what, I'm glad I'm inside and not outside too, because it's still really yucky weather out there. Alright, so once that area is clean, we grab one of our skirting boards, making sure that it goes the right way around. Now this first one's an easy one. It's going up into the corner of a different skirting board, so I don't need to do any cut on the end. It'll just be a square cut, which is already got. So this one I can just simply glue straight into place. When I come to other corners, I'll show you how I've got to set them up. But basically for these, what I've been doing is running a bead along this area. Oh, let me show you. So on this board here, I run a bead on this raised area, and then I run a bead right on that edge there, because as it runs down, it'll fill in with gravity, because that's how it sits. It'll just, the silicone will run down and then form that seal, so it'll be sealed top and bottom. Okay, so that's all on there, ready to go. I will put a little bit just on the end here. That's what it will butt in against. Any excess can be wiped off. And then we just got to lift it into place. Like that. Just push that in nice and tight. And then to make sure that it stays there, we just put a few bits of tape up. That's one skirting board in. Now that was an easy one, so I didn't have to do any cuts at all. So it's not all that easy. Not all of it is that easy. Alright, I'll get the next one in, which will be another long one as well, and then I'll need to butt into some corners, and I'll show you how I cut those 45s and work all of that out. Okay, this next piece will basically be going from that wall just to the edge of this panel right there. I'm not going to extend it all the way across, I'm going to finish it there because this is like a white column there. So for that corner up there, I need to cut at 45 degrees down that way. Reason being is because when the other one comes up, the two have to come in and join. Now over on this end, because it's going to actually finish on an end where it's not going to butt in against something, there's a special way that I'll finish that off on that end. But I'll show you this one first, this 45er, and then I'll show you how I cut the other one. So this end, going into the corner, means that the back edge needs to be further out than the front edge does. So what I do is get it in here. Now unfortunately my miter box is a little bit shorter than the edge, so I've just got to eyeball it to start it. But I get that in there. Get it started. Alright. Now again, I'm still using the hacksaw because it gives a better cut. And this is what we're looking at, is a little chamfered edge just like that. Now for this other edge, because I want this to basically just finish on this wall here, you don't want to be seeing that sort of an end. So the way that we do that is we cut this at 45 degrees across here, and then I take another piece that will go in, and I'll like a piece like this, and I will cut it at 45 degrees, and that way it will marry up. I'll show you what I mean. Double check every time. I normally cut that the wrong way then. So cutting that edge off there, that one won't work. It's the wrong angle. Well, it's the right angle, but it's just the wrong profile. Because if I put that into there, well, that's where I just cut it from. So yeah, it doesn't work. All right, what I need is that one. Cut across from there. Now that's still not the triangle that I want, because again it was the wrong profile. This is the triangle I want, that one right there. So I just need to cut that square now. That's the piece that I want, and I'll show you why. Because now, when that goes along the floor's there. Now I can put that piece in there, and you can see how all of the ridges marry up with each other. That's how I finish off out on an exposed end. And that is how the corner ends up looking when it's finished. Well, that's it for another episode of Toggle. A longer one this week, but there is so much going on. Unfortunately, I didn't have enough time to show you putting the trusses up. So you'll have to tune in next week to see us getting those trusses put up. And that's well worth watching, trust me. Anyway, I hope you've had a great week. I hope you enjoyed this episode. I hope you have a great weekend. You stay safe, take care. I'll see you guys next Friday. Take care. Cheers.